Hey everyone, today in this video I'll be comparing two predominant 5% cashback earning cards that earn this cashback on rotating quarterly categories. I'll be comparing the similarities and differences between the two and why it might be worth getting both of them, and I personally do own both of them and have done video reviews on both. So if you're interested in an in-depth analysis on both of these cards, I recommend checking out the reviews. The links will be at the end of this video as a thumbnail and also in the description. The objective of this video is to help you determine which card you should get or which card you should get first. And as usual, I have my referral link to where you can apply for either one of these cards in the description, so please consider using them to help out my channel and my work. But firstly, I want to talk about the other variation of the Discover It card. It actually has a student version, so my first credit card was actually the Discover It student version. And the benefits are pretty much identical to the full version. In fact, even the application link is the same. The main difference is that you're able to get accepted as a college student with no credit history, and every year for the next 5 years of when you get the card, you can get an extra $20 statement credit if you have, quote, good grades, which is basically a GPA of 3.0 or higher. And those who are curious, they do automatically convert you to the full Discover It version after you graduate or after 5 years of applying for this card. And again, I had already done a full review video on the student version of Discover It. Again, if you're interested, link is in the description or at the end of this video. Now let's move on to talk about what is the same between the Discover It and the Freedom card. So once again, they're both 5% quarterly rotating category cashback cards, and these 5% quarterly categories have a spend cap of $1,500, and then it's back to 1% cashback. And you do need to activate these every quarter, so you need to remember to do so. I'll be showing later on in this video how I do manage to do that. Then when you want to redeem your cash back, there's no minimum redemption amount, so you can redeem as little as 1 cent. And on both of these websites or respective apps, you have the ability to view your credit score for free. You can use these cards on digital wallets like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay as well. And their apps are pretty user-friendly in general. I do kind of prefer the Discover app, but I guess this is something that they can always constantly improve on with software updates anyways. In terms of benefits, they're pretty comparable, not identical, but they're pretty much the same in terms of like warranty extension, return protection, purchase protection, that sort of thing. So now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what's different between the two. So the Discover It card earns cash back only in the form of cash, so these are not points that you can redeem towards travel, unlike the Chase Freedom card, which earns ultimate reward points, so you can transfer it to a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve card for travel purposes. But without a Sapphire card, it pretty much will have the same cashback value as the Discover It. Comparing the sign-up bonuses, what's special about the Discover It card is actually the welcome bonus is doubling the cashback you have earned in the first year of when you apply for the card. So you have to wait an entire year before you get the doubling of that cashback. So depending on how much you use the card, it can actually be worth more than the $100 to $200 sign-up bonus that you could get from the Chase Freedom for a minimum spend of $500 within the first 3 months. So it's comparable depending on how much you spend in those categories. And speaking of the categories, they are revealed a year at a time for the Discover, so you're able to know the entire year's quarterly categories up front for the Discover It. For the Freedom, they kind of roll it out every quarter, so you wouldn't really know what was the next quarter's category until maybe about a month before it happens. But even so, as you can see on the screen right now, in the past categories, they have never exactly matched up with the other. So for example, quarter one of the Freedom card or the Discover card are never exactly the same. So it's definitely ideal to get both of these cards so you can get, for example, 5% back on gas for at least half the year. Continuing on with the differences between the two cards, the Discover It is on the Discover credit card network, which is a little bit less accepted in the US anyway, but then on the Freedom side, it is on the Visa network, which is a little bit more widely accepted. Discover alone as a credit card has the special ability to be able to get cash at checkout without any kind of fee. This is not a cash advance, so this is similar to what you can do with a debit card. Chase Freedom doesn't have something like that, but it has something called Chase Pay. I did a whole video on this, but they pretty much killed it off at the end of 2019 because it was not very successful. And Chase also has something called Chase Offers, where they partner up with certain vendors to provide you even more cash back, and they're basically like coupons, so you have to add them to your card in order to redeem them. Discover used to have something similar to this, but unfortunately they got rid of it in the past few years. Back to Discover, it doesn't have any kind of foreign transaction fee, so it's good to be used abroad, whereas the Freedom does have a foreign transaction fees, so it's not good to be used abroad. Discover It is a little bit easier to apply and get accepted for. The Freedom is also pretty easy to get accepted, just a little bit more difficult than the Discover It, relatively speaking. And they also always pick out the credit file from Equifax for whatever reason. And then finally, something that's not super particularly important, but the Discover It has the ability to customize the design. On the website, after you choose your first card, you can choose from a much wider selection of designs. So you can see I have chosen quite a few myself. So if you really want to customize your credit card, similar to what you can do with a debit card, you can do that with the Discover It. So now let's talk about the value that you can get out of these two cards. So in terms of the first year, it's always ideal for credit cards just because they come with welcome bonuses. So the welcome bonuses between the two, as I mentioned earlier, is a little bit different. So you may actually get more than $200 with the cashback match using the Discover It, but still with the Freedom card, you definitely get the cashback much sooner because you can get that after 3 to 4 months if you can hit that $500 of minimum spend. Year 2 and onwards, it's still a great card to keep long term even if you choose to not use it anymore. As long as you're paying off your balances every month, you shouldn't have to incur any additional charge simply because there is no annual fee. Again, the Freedom is able to turn the cashback into travel using the Sapphire card, so it does give a little bit of an edge in terms of value over the Discover It if you do have the Sapphire card. Since both of these cards require activation per quarter to take advantage of the 5% back quarterly categories, right now I'm going to share my tips on how I managed to remember to activate each category and to know when to use which card during the quarter. So first of which, you can set up these calendar reminders. For example, I have the Reminders app on my iPhone that I use to periodically remind myself to activate and also switch out my cards for each category. So at the beginning of every single quarter, I would reorganize my wallet, and you can see that I kind of put labels in each slot in my wallet. So I have for my main category of spending, so then I would insert the credit card I should use for that particular category for that quarter. The type of wallet I'm using is an accordion style. If you're interested in this particular wallet, I'll put the product link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Also did a full product review on it too if you want a more in-depth look into it. But anyways, this is just how I manage my credit cards with the rotating categories. So it changes up every 3 months, so I just change up my organization of my 4 main cards that I use in my wallet to do so. Now, bottom line, I know some of you don't really want to get both cards. You're wondering which one is the best for me. So at a consolidated level, the Discover It card is great if you're a student, especially because you should definitely get the student version. It's an easier acceptance than the Chase Freedom in general, but do keep in mind that it is a cash-only card. There's no way to transfer the cash back you earn into travel, but it also doesn't have any kind of foreign transaction fee. So once again, if you're a student and you travel abroad, you can use this card, so that's also very handy. You get the custom card design if that's something that you care about, and you get that special ability to get cash at checkout similar to a debit card. Because of this feature, I no longer carry my debit card with me, which is definitely much safer. So I think if you're a college student, you should definitely get the Discover It card first. If you're not a college student and you're kind of debating whether to get the Discover It card or the Freedom card first, I would get the Freedom card first, but this shouldn't be your first credit card unless you already have a relationship with Chase, just because the acceptance is a little bit more difficult. Plus, with Chase's 524 rule, where you can't have more than 5 cards in the past 24 months, you definitely want to get the Chase card early. So this is a good first step into the Chase Trifecta system for either the cash or travel route. Plus, since it's on the Visa network, you don't really have to worry about vendor not being able to take your card or not. But I would still recommend getting both of these cards to maximize your cash back, just because the quarter categories are never identical. So hopefully now you know which card you should get or which card you should get first. And once again, I have the application links down below. Please consider using it to support my channel, and do subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.